Chris Stephens.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. It's always a pleasure to respond on behalf of the SNP on these types of debate, as are officially called matters to be raised before the forthcoming adjournment, or, as I had to explain to the Chief Whip, the nickname Whinge-fest, which seemed to have passed him by and passed me by. But it's not been a whinge-fest today at all. I think it's been a very wide-ranging and excellent debate, and I do want to pay particular tribute to the Honourable and Gallant Member for Beckenham for his contribution, my good friend from Luton South for an excellent contribution. And of course it was started by the Honourable Member for Harrow East, who made, I think, some very pertinent criticisms on the Home Office. And I know he's raised these issues before, and I join him about that. But I was particularly taken with his view that, as a member of the 1922 Committee Executive, he wishes to keep a low profile for the next year. And no wonder, Mr Deputy Speaker. 2022, 3 Prime Ministers, 4 Chancellors, 3 Secretaries of State of the Department of Work and Pensions, 3 Leaders of the House, a mini-budget bombshell which crashed the economy, and a cost of living crisis which is ongoing, which is of course Tory made, failing the nations and regions of these United Kingdom and these islands. Now, of course, the Prime Minister, he lost the first ballot, didn't he? He then secured it when it was accepted that that what he was looking for was inevitable. When you think about it, Mr Deputy Speaker, it's a bit like the Scottish constitutional question, with 6 polls in a row now showing Scottish independence in the lead. But I want to concentrate on, I think, what many others have touched on, which is the cost of living crisis and who's been asked to pay the price. And on that, I was very much taken with the contribution from the Right Honourable Member for Islington North, who quite rightly raised the number of workers across public services and elsewhere who are taking industrial action. And I have to say, I have no problem being on a picket line. Firstly, because they are constituents. And you go on a picket line to understand the problems and to see how you can help to try and resolve a dispute. I don't see any particular reason, a problem with that. So when people criticise those of us who are on picket lines, then my message to them is, well, why don't you talk to your constituents? Why don't you try and find out where the problems are? Why don't you try and fix these issues? Because the simple fact is, we have some of the most restrictive trade union laws in the world. And given that trade unions have to go through all these hurdles in order to undertake industrial action in the first place, I think that there has to be some acknowledgement that when people are on strike, there's very real reasons why they're on strike. They're not on strike because somebody told them to, or that some trade union official or steward has Jedi-like powers where they wave their hand and say, this is the strike they're looking for. It just does not work that way, Mr Deputy Speaker. And I think more worrying for the government is the number of civil service workers who are going to be on strike, who've started being on strike and are going to be on strike in the next few weeks. Driver and Vehicle Standards Agency, Border Force, for example, the outsourced services of disclosure and barring services, and the justice sector. And why doesn't the government sort out this peculiar nonsense for a government of small government? Why there is over 200 negotiating positions in the civil service, there's 200 different pay negotiations, seems to me to be a completely nonsensical position. And one of the reasons people are having to take industrial action at the moment, Mr Deputy Speaker, that they say to me, and that's the price of food. Food inflation is at 16%, which is incredible when you think about it. It's incredible when you think about the number of people who are having to utilise food banks. And one of the things I try to do as a member, since I've been elected, is to try and help people step up from food banks by making affordable food projects. And I'm thinking, for example, of the Three Hills Larder, the Lint House Larder, which was open last week, larders and pantries which are going to be opening up in Cardonald, and Scotland's first community supermarket, which will be opening up as well, because these are very real issues, Mr Deputy Speaker. And one of the reasons, it's not just working people, of course, who are having to use these sorts of services. We're now seeing the return of sanctions coming back as a very aggressive policy instigated by the Department of Work and Pensions, where £36 million in August of this year was recouped in DWP sanctions. That's in 1 month in England, Wales and Scotland. That is an absolutely incredible figure, Mr Deputy Speaker. 36 million in 1 month. The month before it was 35, the month before that it was 34. So there's certainly an increase in the use of sanctions, and I think that that's something that we are really going to have to debate in this House in the next year going forward. And to back up the Honourable Member for Harrow East again, the Home Office really needs to start corresponding with Members of Parliament when we raise issues with them. The number of outstanding pieces of correspondence I have with the Home Office, I have to say, is utterly incredible, Mr Deputy Speaker, and is something that I hope that the Leader of House will take back to the Home Office, because the Afghan issue has been raised, but there are many other constituent cases I've got with the Home Office where I'm just not getting any answers at all, and the number of delays is quite frankly ludicrous. I do hope in the coming year, Mr Deputy Speaker, we'll see an end to some of the more aggressive anti-immigration rhetoric that we sometimes hear in this place and elsewhere. Glasgow led the way, of course. We elected the first refugee councillor in Scotland, the great Rosa Sally, who was an office manager in the Glasgow South West constituency office but has been retained as a part-time caseworker. And I would just like to end, Mr Deputy Speaker, by saying some people will suggest that we're all going on holiday after today. It is not a holiday, it's a recess. Some of us might get Christmas Day off, if we're lucky, but it's a recess. There's still a lot of work to be done, but we couldn't do this work if it wasn't for the staff of this House, but more importantly, the great constituency office staff that we all have. And I want to pay tribute and thank Scott McFarlane, Rosa Sally, Keith Gibb, Alistair Shaw, Tony McHugh, Dominic Ukbas, Raz Sally, Lindsay Wilson and Greg McCara for their outstanding work in the last year, and I wish them and every other honourable member's constituency office staff a happy and peaceful Christmas and a good New Year when it comes. Thank you.